Well done, good and faithful servant.
And I heard, as it were, the voice of a great multitude, and as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of mighty thundering, saying, Alleluia, for the Lord God omnipotent who reigneth. Let us be glad and rejoice, and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife hath made herself ready. And her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white. For the fine linen is the righteousness of saints. And he said unto me, Write, blessed are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he saith unto me, These are the true sayings of God.
You know, the hopeful elect, of which we believe we are according to faith, and the importance of being of that group called the elect, which are also known as the church of the firstborn in the scriptures. Firstborn meaning the first spirits created. And it would make sense the Heavenly Father would take the first spirits created to be the rulers of the nation, the aristocrat, if you will. If you know your words, the word aristocrat literally means best rule. The first spirits created are the best ones to rule. That's why Yahushua is the first of the first, and he's the best of the best to rule. No, Yahushua will be ruling in the next kingdom, and right underneath him will be King David, you know?
But ye shall be named the priests of the Lord. Men shall call you the ministers of our God. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. For your shame ye shall have double, and for confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore in their land they shall possess the double, everlasting joy shall be unto them. For I the Lord love judgment, I hate robbery for burnt offering, and I will direct their work in truth, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them. And their seed shall be known among the Gentiles, and their offspring among the people. All that see them shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed which the Lord hath blessed. I will greatly rejoice in the Lord, my soul shall be joyful in my God. For he hath clothed me with the garments of salvation, he hath covered me with the robe of righteousness, as a bridegroom decketh himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorneth herself with her jewels. For as the earth bringeth forth her bud, and as the garden causeth the things that are sown in it to spring forth, so the Lord will cause righteousness and praise to spring forth before all the nations.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakapadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. All right, and what I want to get into today is going into the devil at work, okay? Because the latest happenings, as we know, all right, the talk of the earth, all right, what the American government, has done down, in Venezuela, okay? And you have, people jumping up and down, as if this is some great thing, okay, for them, okay, the average person, all right, because when we see, all right, these devils, going into certain places, doing regime change, all right, and taking over, the resources, okay, putting them on the world market for their profit, for their benefit, This is for these elite families. All right. This was a power move for the elite families. It was a power move for, the American military as far as posturing themselves in the Western Hemisphere. Okay. It has nothing to do with benefiting, all right, the local people of Venezuela. Okay. Or, all right, you Joe Six Pack Americans, man. Okay. This is the devil at work. Okay. The people that directly benefit, okay, off, these coups and, change regimes is the elites. Okay. And the super rich. All right. Now they make it seem as if they're doing it, to stop drugs or for your safety or narco terrorism. They do it to make it seem like they're saving the day for you. Okay. But this has absolutely nothing to do, okay, with the average person, man. Okay. This is big business for big corporations. Okay. And also, it was a military strategic move for America. Okay. To bolster itself in the West. Now, what I want to do is get this book. I want to get into the book of Micah, and then I got some things on the chat. Okay, I want to get into. All right, because one thing that he promised was prosperity for Venezuela. All right, and you know damn well the American government don't care about the Venezuelan people. Okay, the Colombian people. Okay, the African people, or its own people, and anyone else in the earth, man. Okay, the planet Earth, all right, is ran by the elite banking family and billionaires, man. These elite banking families of Amalek and billionaires. Okay. All the major moves that we see happening directly benefit them. And that's it. Okay. You're not going to see a crumb of the profits that's going to be made off the resources, the oil and gold that they're going to steal from Venezuela. Okay. And you people are celebrating, which makes you, all right, that makes you complicit to the crimes because you got people saying, gas gonna get lower now and this and that. Well, nigga, that's not your oil. You see, it's like America has turned everyone to be so criminal minded that this is okay. Okay, like nigga, that's not your oil. Okay, but the earth was given into his hand, and he was given the sword. So the devil gonna do what he's gonna do, but the concept, all right, that you people are celebrating is completely wicked, man. Okay, so let's go here to the book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 1. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. You see, so these devils are able to put, these different schemes and strategies together. Okay, whether it be economic, whether it be military, whether it be both. Okay, whether it be ideology. Okay, they're able to plot and scheme. Okay, on these different, conspiracies and plots and agendas, but then they're able to put it into practice because it's in the power of their hand. They have the finances, they have the military might. Okay, they have the media, which they use for propaganda and enchantments to control the narrative. They control the industries, the manufacturing, okay, the school curriculum. So they control all these things. So when they plot and scheme, they're able to execute because they control, okay, all these different things of the earth, man. Technology, you see, what people have access to, man. Okay, so these devils have the power to execute on their wickedness, man. But then here it is, he'll make a big deal when he says, you says, he'll make this big deal about hate speech. What he considers hate speech. Okay, but the people that he's, persecuting, okay, or criminalizing or demonizing for hate speech, those people don't have no power to do anything. Okay, this nigga ain't got to talk. He can have a secret council and then go execute. You see, he don't do a podcast about how he feel about this or that. No, he come up with a scheme and go execute. Okay? He has the power to fulfill his hatred, his racism. Okay? He has the power to carry out his hate speech. You see, verse 2, it says, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. Okay? And they covet fields, which is the earth. And they take them by violence. And we just seen a great example of that, man. Okay? And the sword at work. He take what he want through violence. Okay? And those people are finna be oppressed even more in their own land. Okay? Which is the northern kingdom, the tribe of Asher down there in Venezuela. They're finna be oppressed only. As the scriptures say. All right? Which they all into the, the Roman Catholicism. And you see, Jesus didn't show up. Jesus was a nigga that did the airstrike. Okay? It was Jesus in one of them F-35s. You see, in that Black Hawk helicopter. Okay? But this is the MO of the devil. The scriptures gives us this man MO and how he gets down. Okay? It says, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man in his heritage. Therefore, thus said the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, against the family of Esau Edom. Okay? So there's an agenda, there's a strategy against Esau Edom. Okay, there's a judgment. Esau is running to that judgment. He's going around on his last hoorah, doing wickedness. Okay, just being a bully in the earth. Okay, therefore, thus said the Lord, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which they shall not remove your necks, neither shall you go haughtily, for this time is evil. Okay, so the Lord, all right, got a cake baked for this nigga Esau, man. Okay. This devil, he doesn't ride off into the sunset. Okay? He's been given, a time and moment, all right, to fulfill wickedness. Okay? But there's an evil, there's a bad time, all right, that he's not going to be able to remove his neck, which means he's not going to be acquitted. You see? Neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil, because he used to doing wickedness, getting away with it, and then being proud about it. Okay? And I said these latest events is a great example. All right. They put Esau, all right, it matched Esau perfectly with these precepts, man. Okay? Because he goes and does wickedness. All right. And I want to play this real quick clip. Okay. So this is from that press conference, all right, the other day in Mar-a-Lago from Donald Trump, okay, and what he says about the oil in Venezuela, okay.
As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to do a second wave if we needed to do so. We actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first wave, if you'd like to call it that. The first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do a second, but we're prepared to do a second wave, a much bigger wave, actually. This was pinpoint, but we have a much bigger wave that probably won't have to do.
Goddamn devil, man. So the point is he's saying that American, all right, oil companies is getting ready to take over the oil infrastructure in Venezuela. Okay. Now, what does that mean? Because another thing he promised, prosperity for the Venezuelan people, man. Okay, which that's a goddamn lie. All right. Venezuela is going to be a plantation, an American plantation. Okay. And you go here, I want to get some, because I asked the chat, I said, does local population benefit from the major Western corporations that take over the manufacturing of local resources? It says, um, why? Uh, because this never happens, It said ways local populations can benefit. Okay, now this never happens. Okay, especially in places where the tribes are at. Okay, so it says, I'm gonna jump down. Okay, because even the things that benefit the locals, it's not meant for the locals. Because they're gonna bring in fiber optics. It's gonna be more internet. It's gonna be paved roads, railroad tracks. Uh, but that's the steel. Like the infrastructure that he's gonna set up, it's gonna be the steel. Okay, and the things that he builds that the local population have access to, that's for his people when they down there. Okay, restaurants and particular things they might set up, they're building that for their people. Okay, the people that's coming to check on their interests, man. Okay, and you might be able to tap into some internet now. Now you got AT&T now. Okay, you didn't have it before. Well, he does that because he need communication to steal. Okay, he's going to set up infrastructure so he can extrapolate resources. That's why you got new paved roads and railroads and systems now. He'll allow someone to be public to make it seem as if he, a hero for the people. But he set up that infrastructure, okay, with these corporations so he can steal. All right, it says ways local population often do not benefit. In many cases, the negatives outweigh the positive. Okay, low wages and poor working conditions. Jobs may exist, but pay is minimal, and labor protections are weak. Profits leave the country. Most money goes back to corporate headquarters instead of staying local. Environmental damage, pollution, deforestation, or water contamination can harm health and livelihoods, man. Okay, so this devil, when he sets up, all right, infrastructure to extrapolate these resources from these places that he's conquered, these newly places that he's conquered, okay, it's all bad for the locals, man. Okay, they're gonna get these dangerous, low-paying jobs. Okay, pollution is gonna go off the charts. There's gonna be deforestation. People are gonna lose their farmland. If they don't lose it, all right, the crops gonna suffer because of so much pollution. Okay, and the profits, the billions, okay, that they profit from the resource, okay, is gonna go to the elite bankers, man. It's not gonna be invested back into goddamn Venezuela, man. Okay, it said the placement of communities. Land may be taken from local farmers or indigenous groups. Weak local It said weak local industry, local businesses struggle to compete and may shut down. Corruption and unequal deals. Governments may sign contracts that benefit elites and not citizens. Yeah, so these governments, like all the politics in Venezuela, all right, they're gonna have to sell out to these major corporations. Okay, and if you don't sell out, they're gonna Maduro your ass, man. You see? It's gonna now it's a get down and lay down policy, man. You see? We're seeing a real nigga at work. Okay, what Jake does on the local level, this nigga does on the global. Okay, he has special forces and helicopters to do his wickedness. You see, in CIA and technology, to do his wickedness, man. He has way more resources to be wicked, man. It says, when do local populations benefit the most? Is that benefits are much more likely when governments enforce strong labor and environmental laws. That's not going to happen. They don't even happen here in America. Okay, none of that's going to happen. All right, so um, I went down and said add real world examples of how they don't benefit. All right, because they benefit that don't happen. Okay, like I said, they don't even have that many unions and people underpaid in America, man. So you can imagine what it's finna be. Okay, in Venezuela, you know, it's gonna look like the system they already have set up. Okay, in other places. All right. It says here are clear real world examples showing how local populations often do not benefit when major Western corporations take over manufacturing or extraction of local resources. These are commonly used in geography, economics, and history classes. Oil companies in the Niger Delta, all right, Nigeria. Hmm. Okay. Nigeria, that's been in the talks lately. You bombed them on on Christmas. Okay. Corporations involved Shell, Exxon Mobil, and Chevron. All right. And there was a Chevron in Venezuela too. It said what happened? Oil extraction. It said what happened? Oil extraction brought massive environmental pollution, oil spill, gas flaring, farmland and fishing waters were destroyed. Okay. So you got these other nations that agriculture is a major part, okay, of their culture, man. Okay, then it's just destroyed, food source destroyed, farmland destroyed. It says how locals didn't benefit. Local people lost their main livelihoods, farming and fishing. Health problems increased due to polluted water and air. Most oil profits went to corporations and political elites, not local communities. Despite oil wealth, the region remains poor and underdeveloped. Okay? This is how these devils get down. Okay, but then you think they did an airstrike in Nigeria for some damn Christians? Cause they care about Christians, man. This devil is a goddamn liar, man. It be hard to listen to this nigga lie like this, man. And you people don't blink, and that's why Mills gonna hit all y'all dumbass Americans, man. Okay, that's why all you Americans are included in the judgment, man. Okay, because you're complicit to it, man. Okay, it said garment factories in Bangladesh, corporations involved Western fashion brands outsourcing production. What happened? Factories produce clothes for Europe and the US at very low cost. How locals didn't benefit. Workers earn extremely low wages, often not enough to live on. Unsafe working conditions. Examples: Renat Plaza factory collapsed in 2013, which killed over 1,100 workers, man. All this money they get and they couldn't even build them a sufficient factory. You're already underpaying them, you know, but you couldn't even build them a sufficient factory to work in till it just collapsed on them, man. And things don't just collapse. There was signs that but God, then 1,100, that's a lot of people, man. Okay, and you think that operation stopped? No, throw up another one. Go get 1,100 more people. Okay, because he puts people in so much poverty that they desperate, man. These lands are rich in resources. Okay, and then I say it's not even about them benefiting off the resources. He just come and destroy so much of their livelihood. Okay, that they have to come work for this nigga, man, because they destroy the farms, they destroy fishing water, they pollute so much that it be the only option is to work with this nigga, man. Work for this nigga. All right. It said profits go to Western brands while workers face long hours and little job security. All right, said cobalt mining in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Corporations involve suppliers linked to Western tech companies. What happened? Cobalt is essential for smartphones, laptops, and electric vehicles. How locals didn't benefit. Miners work, all right, miners work in dangerous conditions, often without protection, without protective equipment. Child labor has widely, all right, child labor has been widely reported. Local communities remain extremely poor despite supplying a valuable global resources. Profits flow through international supply chains, not local miners. Okay, and they do this everywhere they go. Anywhere that's resource rich, these devils have set up the same system. They've turned it to a plantation, man. Okay, it's just bigger than cotton now. Now it's rare earth minerals. You see, even when you go here, but banana plantations in Central America, corporations involved United Fruit Company, now Shakita or Dole. What happened? Large companies control land and production. Farmers were paid very little and had no control over prices. Governments were influenced or pressured to favor corporations. Local economies become dependent on one crop, making them unstable. All right, on one crop, man, you got a whole okay economy depending on one crop, man. Okay, so he just turned all right a portion of Central America, okay, into a banana plantation, man. Okay, it said this led to the term banana republics, describing countries exploited for resources, man. And they say this the banana republics like that's a good thing. Like they'll say that on the news. They'll refer, all right, to certain parts of Central America as the banana republics, man. Like they're just a casual thing. Like that's not wickedness that they got set up down there, man. You know, so they come and take all the land, take the resources, put in a puppet government, all right, that's gonna set policies to benefit, okay, these elite corporations, man. And they got this system set up all throughout the earth, man. Okay, it said mining companies in Peru, corporations involved, Western mining corporations. It said what happened, copper and gold mining expanded rapidly. Water sources were contaminated by mining waste. Indigenous communities were displaced or ignored in decision making. Protests occurred, all right, because communities saw environmental harm, okay, but little economic gain. All right. And if you think the Venezuelan people are finna, okay, just chill, like they finna be in a utopia because Maduro gone. All right, you out your goddamn mind. Okay. Esau finna turn that thing to a plantation, an oil plantation. Okay? And these big corporations finna benefit. All right. And he was boasting. Yeah, they're very big oil corporation. He's boasting. Okay? So let's go back to here. Um, let's get this in Habakkuk, man. See, there's a judgment coming to the devil. You see, and that's good. Because Esau needs to be proud so he can run to this judgment. The Lord set this nigga up perfectly, man. Because what do you do to a proud nigga? You stroke their ego. Okay, you play into their ego. All right, and this plays into the ego. Okay, of these Edomites to keep going. Okay, which hey, that's beautiful. Okay, how the Lord is setting this thing up, man. All right, this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3. For the vision is yet for the appointed future. All right, the appointed future time. Okay, so we're seeing major prophecy and progress, man. We're seeing major prophecy and progress, not just, 'cause Venezuela, that's a small pond, okay, in the bigger game, okay, but that is a step forward. It does change the playing field. Okay. It does escalate the tension between the East and West. Okay. It says it hurries towards the goal of fulfillment. It will not fail. Even though it delays, wait patiently for it because it will certainly come. It will not delay. Okay. So we're seeing these things unfold, and we just patiently await, okay, for the Lord, okay, to bring righteous judgment in the earth, man. Okay. To put this man down. You see, he's a proud man. Okay. And the only thing that's going to stop that pride is a judgment from Yahweh Bashim al Shah. That's why I said, look at, all right, the proud one. His soul is not up, his soul is not right within him, man. He just ain't right. Okay, this nigga just lie, rob, steal, and kill. That's all this nigga do, man. That's all this devil does, man. And he just get on the TV and lie, man, like it ain't nothing. Nothing but lies, man. Okay? And people eat it up. Okay? This nigga get to be the biggest terrorist villain, okay, in the world. But then he gets to play hero. He gets to, triumph. He gets to he's celebrated, man. Okay? And he just had it's not in him to do anything right, man. He finna be the complete devil over there in Venezuela, man. All right? You people thought you had a bad under Maduro. You just wait, okay? Till them oil companies get to setting up their infrastructure down there, man. It said, look at the proud one. His soul is not right within him, but the righteous will live by faith in the true power. Yeah, see, all this is going on because you look at it like this nigga winning, this nigga not winning. This nigga's being set up for failure. Okay, and it takes faith to know that, man. Okay, he get to be proud. You simple Americans get to act like you got some type of victory, but we know what this is leading to through faith, man. Okay, righteous judgment is gonna take hold in the earth, man. Okay, it says, moreover, wine is treacherous and betrays the arrogant man, so that he does not stay at home. Okay, so this devil, he has everyone drunken off his philosophies, man. He drunk off his philosophies, man. And that plays a part in his arrogance, man. His Edomite supremacy, his technology, he's tapped in on the left-hand side. He's able to influence the earth, control of the economy. You see, he man has created fake wealth through the dollar, man. So this man is able, okay, this man is drunk off his own wine. Okay, and he's full of himself, man. Okay, but but he's finna get reckless. Okay, it says so that he does not stay at home. He's everywhere. Because all those examples, all right, is Esau that's everywhere in the earth doing this, man. All them examples of these corporations, these Western corporations, this beast system is everywhere, man, and mainly America. Okay, so this devil, he can't stay at home. All right, he's involved with everything that's in the earth, man. He has his hands in it. All right, in wickedness, man. It says his appetite is large like Sheol, which is the grave. Okay, because the grave, you can never, put enough bodies in the earth because it breaks those bodies down, and just be ready for another one, man. Okay, so this is a man that cannot be satisfied. He is like it said, and he is like death, never satisfied. He gathers to himself all nations and collects to himself all people as if he owned them. Okay, and this technocracy is just him doubling down like, look, I own everything. I own you people. Okay, this man is just a tyrant that's off the chain. Okay, and he's all about just gathering everything to himself. He wants all the resources, all the people, the animals. He wants everything to himself, man. Okay, and he want to put you on a social credit system to where you have to act a certain way to get permission to the earth, man. Okay, this is what this devil is on. Habakkuk 2:6, it says, while all these victims of greed, okay, it said, will all these victims of greed not take up a taunting song against him and in mocking derision against him, saying, woe, okay, saying, woe. You see, destruction, judgment is coming to him who increases that which is not his. How long will he possess it? Okay, so there's a strategy being played against these devils, man. All right, the Lord has prophecy in place to where these nations, all right, they gonna go with their move, man. Okay, and this devil, he's doing nothing but provoking them to go with their move, man. Okay, but this nigga not gonna stop. Okay, it said, how long will he possess it? And woe to him who makes himself wealthy, all right, with loans with debt, man. Okay, make yourself wealthy with debt by keeping the world in debt. You know, that's how this man becomes wealthy, by keeping the earth in debt, man. You know, talking about these elite banking families, man. Okay, and this man is able to, afford all this wickedness because he is able to just create fake wealth. He able to spend money he don't got. Okay, the American military budget is pretty much unlimited, man, because he just print money he don't got. Okay, it says, will your creditors not rise up suddenly, and those who collect from you, all right, and those who collect from you awaken, all right, it's like, and those who collect from you awaken, and then you will become a plunder for them. Let's get this in the KJV, Salaki. All right, Habakkuk 2:7. It says, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee? Okay, and awake that shall vex thee. Okay, because it's going to be in the sudden, man. You see, you best believe the Lord got these nations putting a play together. Okay, according to the scriptures, man. All right, and that's just part of the judge, because Yahweh Shah coming to judge all the nations, man. Okay, it says, and thou shalt be for booties unto them, because thou hast spoiled many nations. You see, and that was just a small record of what these devils have set up. How they spoil the nations of the earth. That was just a small little list, man. They do this everywhere throughout the earth, man. They just spoil the earth, constantly just take, and take. Okay, it says, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and all that dwell therein, man. You see, and it's a lot of blood on America, man. It's a lot of blood on the West. This beast system, man, and that blood gonna be repaid. But Most High gonna even this thing out, man, in this third world war. Okay, the slaughtering of the tribes, the way he just been a slaughter, man. Scripture say how they were drunken with the blood of the saints. All this gonna be paid back because you just go too far, man. Okay, you constantly go too far. Okay, and he just has no stop. No matter how rich he is, no matter how much in poverty you is, he's always trying to take. Okay, he said, woe to him that coveted an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Okay, and this man thinks that with his military, his wealth, okay, his technology, that he's fortified from judgment. Okay, this man thinks that he's going to be fortified from judgment, man. Okay, and all this devil does is look and sees what he can take next, man. He's built his empire off theft. Of robbery, man. Off blood. He's built his empire off of that, man. Okay? This is a kingdom of thieves, man. All right. It said, thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people. And this speaking to the house, speaking about the whole lineage of Edom. Okay. It has sinned against thy own soul. So everything that this man is doing is nothing but a charge against him for the day of judgment. Okay. Against him and his whole nation, man. Okay. Matter of fact, let's get this and go back to the AMP real quick. All right, this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and 10. In the AMP, it says, you have devised a shameful thing for your house by cutting off and putting an end to many peoples. So you are sinning against your own life and forfeiting it. For the stone will cry out from the wall to accuse you, built in sin. So this whole infrastructure is built in sin and wickedness, man. Okay, and the accuser, all right, is going to accuse this man. So this whole infrastructure that he's built up and established through blood money, through robbery, through deception, through unrighteous wars, okay, he has built his empire. He has built everything up. And wickedness and sin, everything he has is built in sin, man. Okay, and that's going to accuse this devil in the day of judgment, man. Okay. So you read on, it says, woe. Okay. Judgment is coming to him who builds a city with bloodshed and establishes a town with violence, man. Okay. And that's the story of Esau, Edom. By thy sword shalt thou live. Okay. So he was being set up from failure, going all the way back to the blessing given to him by Isaac. He was being set up for failure then. Okay. And now we're in the time where the Lord is going to require that judgment. He's going to require their blood. Okay. Yeah. So you devils, you know, you on your last hoorah. Okay. And righteous judgment is soon, okay, to take hold on your ass, man. I want to get this last precept just came to mind. Yep, all right. Spirit. It's Sirach 16. All right, in 13, it says, the sinner shall not escape with his spoils. Okay, and this is you devils, man. You're not going to escape with everything you stole and took and plundered. Okay, all right, in the earth, man. It says, and the patience of the godly, all right, shall not be frustrated. That's the hopeful elect, man. And our patience, all right, is to see this devil judge, see these heathens, all right, judged and put in chains. Yahweh shot to establish the throne of David in the earth and righteousness, man. The earth being restored to paradise, man. See, that's our patience, man. And we're not going to be frustrated. We're going to be beyond satisfied, man, with the goodness of our power. We're going to be satisfied with how he judges, all right, in righteousness in the earth, okay, and how he delivers and reward, you know, his people, man, beginning with their remnant, okay. So that's the point, you know, Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified once again. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful exile.